Hello Mr. Pear, this is my piece for your video.
Hello to everyone in Pear Land.
Where will Port finish in 2020? I believe Port Adelaide will easily make the top 8, and in my opinion, I believe they'll finish 6th.
So where will Port Adelaide finish in 2020? I have them a respectable 7th, which I think is pretty good.
I've got them finishing 12th on my predicted ladder. Now, I do think there's a lot of quality in the list, and there's a lot of youth in particular. So I think while they're pushing games into the youth, they might sacrifice a few games. I think they'll finish 12th, and Ken Hinkley will be sacked.
You know what? Port have a weird season this year. They could bloody go really good, or they could sack Ken Hinkley. But, you know, as a Dockers fan, as an AFL fan, as a fan of football, I think Port Adelaide will finish 14th.
I'm not buying into the hype. I don't know, they got a bit of the Bombers about them, I reckon. So, me being the footballing expert, I'm going to chuck the Power 10th on the ladder. That's where I think they will finish.
For you Port fans, more importantly than where you will finish, it's the fact that you will finish higher than the Adelaide Crows. A very important thing for all of you to remember. Higher than the Adelaide Crows, because they are terrible. 2020, the downfall of Adelaide Football Club, the rising up of the Port Pear. Top 8, I believe. Top 8. Potentially top 6. Confident with top 8, I am. Bullish about top 6.
I believe that Port Adelaide will finish 6th this season.
That's a tough question, because they can go anywhere. I reckon they'll be around the 8. In my season prediction video, I had them in 9th, and I reckon that's a fair estimate. They'll probably win 10 games, I'd say they'd win 9 to 12 games in 2020.
Who leads the goal kicking? Well, I've heard Charlie Dixon, or whatever the big fella's name is meant to be doing good at the moment. I'll say him. Yeet. No, I won't. Connor Rosey. C-Rose, my man, he's going home with the Coleman for the Port Adelaide Power Ducks.
Kicking. I believe Connor Rosey wins Port Adelaide's goal kicking.
My prediction for who will be leading Port Adelaide's goal kicking, I'm going to say Charlie Dixon. He's looking real fit this pre-season, and I think he's going to put together a 44-goal season to take out that award.
The great big man, Toddy Marshall, will win the leading goal kicking for the Pear. He's going to take his game to another level.
And Zach Butters will lead the goal kicking.
Alright, so in my opinion, I reckon Port Adelaide's leading goal kicker is going to be Charlie Dixon for 2020.
In terms of who their leading goal kicker is going to be, I'm going with Charlie Dixon. He's the kind of guy that if fit can get you 50 plus goals in a season, and it seems like he is fit, which is excellent news for Port Adelaide.
Charlie Dixon, the man is fit. The man is massive. The man is an absolute human specimen. 60 goals this year.
Is going to be Sam Powell-Pepper. Is he competent for being a bit overrated? Because I think that's harsh. I think he's a little bit overrated. But I think this year he turns into the player that we all thought he would be after his first couple of seasons. I think he becomes one of the AFL's elite.
If Charlie Dixon kicks 60, you'd think he'd be top 20 in the Brownlow medal. But there's a young man at Port Adelaide called Travis Boak. A few of you may know him. Fantastic footballer. Fantastic bloke.
Travis Boak, if he can, dominate most Port games, and if Port can get more wins than losses, who knows, Travis Boak might be up there.
The other choice is Anthony's man crush, Travis Boak, is clearly the next best candidate for the Brownlow. He's getting on a bit, but obviously had a career best season last year, so I think he's actually a half decent shout.
I believe Travis Boak is the key Brownlow medalist for Port Adelaide.
In terms of a Brownlow medal fancy, I mean, the obvious answer is Cam Sutcliffe, but if it's not him, I'm going to go with Travis Boak. I think there's a really good narrative argument to be made that he deserves one at this time, especially if Port Adelaide end up really, really good this season.
Brownlow medal chance? No one. You're shit.
You might not like this answer, but sadly, I think it's far more likely that Ken Hinkley gets sacked. I don't think Port's list is terrible. If they made a top 4 finish, it wouldn't be the craziest thing I've ever seen. But personally, I have them just missing the 8, and that will certainly spell the end of Ken Hinkley.
I also think it's more likely that Iz make the top 4 than Ken Hinkley gets sacked. Big year for the pair. Big year for the pair. And I'll be rooting for him. We love the power.
I mean, if we're being realistic, I think Hinkley getting sacked is more realistic than Port making top 4, because I can name 4 teams that are better than Port Adelaide right now. West Coast, Brisbane, Collingwood, Richmond, off the top of my cranium. So I will say Hinkley will get sacked over them making the top 4 of the ladder.
And in terms of what is more likely, a top 4 finish or Ken Hinkley gets fired, yeah, I don't think Ken's going to make it.
Yeah, Ken Hinkley, I reckon, will have a greater chance of getting sacked than Port to be top 4.
I believe Ken Hinkley will continue to coach Port Adelaide since they finished in the finals this year. Hope so. So he will not be sacked, as they, I believe, will make finals. So, on you, Ken.
I'm not sure Port will finish top 4, but I don't believe Ken Hinkley will be sacked because you will play finals. Port will play finals this season in 2020.
The no sit on the fence sort of question, Anthony. That is, there's plenty happening there. I don't want to sack him. I don't want to sack anyone, but I don't think you're making the top 4. So what's more likely to happen? Well, I think it's more likely Ken will get sacked than you guys make the top 4, but I don't want to say he'll get sacked because I don't want to sack anyone. Anyway, pair allegiance, good luck this season. I actually don't mind the Power. I think they're a pretty good team. Went and saw a game in Adelaide Oval, and it's a great place to experience footy. So I've got no qualms against the Power, besides rattling the D's round 1 last year. That was a bit frustrating, but good luck this season, and hopefully Ken doesn't get sacked.